Good morning, students. Today we will start the fourth chapter of class 7 science, and the name of the chapter is fiber, fabric and clothes. In this chapter we will learn about different process for preparing clothes. Now, first of all, what do you mean by the cloth? Cloth means the substance that we used for wearing and for our basic need. That means to prevent the scorching heat of the summer, to prevent the cold from the winter. For the different purpose we use clothes, and also to look more attractive and gorgeous by using clothes. So clothes are prepared from different fabrics, and fabrics are made from fibers. And where do we get the fiber? In this chapter we will learn about all these things. First of all, we have to know that the fibers we used for making clothes are obtained from different plants, animals, different organisms. For example, the cotton. When we use the cotton clothes, it is prepared by the cotton, threads of cotton, and we obtain the cotton from the plant. In case of woolen garments, that means sweater, shawls, muffler, cap, socks, etc. For preparing woolen garments or winter garments, we use wool. And from where do we obtain this wool? We obtain this wool from the animals. And another substance is silk. We obtain the silk from the silkworm. That is also an organism. Now, the first part of this chapter is obtaining wool and preparing clothes by using this wool. There are so many processes of preparing the clothes. So first of all, we learn about the wool yielding animals. That means the animals that yield wool. What are they? They are Angora rabbit, yak, they are Kashmiri goat, they are sheep, different, European bison. Different animals, they have long hairs in their body, and we obtain these hair and prepare wool. We will observe the process of preparing wool. First of all, we have to rear and breed these animals. What do you mean by rearing and breeding? The rearing terms refer to the process of taking care of the animals from which we obtain the wool. That means the animals that provide us the wool, we have to take care of them. We have to take care about their food, about their shelter, about their health, about their condition. Each and everything we have to take care. Because if the animal or the sheep or the yak or the rabbit that becomes ill, or that by some disease they are getting some viral infection or some bacterial infection, so in that case we will not able to collect the hair or the wool from that animals, because the animal is sick or ill. So to maintain the health and to maintain the quality of the wool, we have to provide the proper nutrition, proper shelter, proper medicine, proper care of the animal. This process is known as the rearing of animals. The next step is breeding. What do we mean by breeding? Breeding is a process in which we choose two animals of different gender. That means one animal is male and one animal is female. by the crossing of these two animals, we get the new offspring, and the new offspring is of better quality. Year by year, day by day, the population of human beings increase in a vast way. That means every day some new peoples are coming to this earth, and they require the woolen garments and the winter garments. So they also need wool, and to fulfill their need, we collect more and more amount of wool from the animals, and for this purpose we require more amount of animals. For example, if we have 10 animals and we get an ample amount of wool from these 10 animals, after few years the population of earth will also increase, and the wool we obtain from the 10 animals will not sufficient, and for this purpose we need some more animals. That means if we breed these animals will produce new offspring, and the number of these animals will increase, and they will also provide us the higher amount of wool. Now, there is a process known as selective breeding. What do you mean by selective breeding? Selective breeding is a term in which the animals from the group of animals we choose two best quality of different gender. That means one best male and one is the best female, and by crossing over these animals, some better quality of offspring will produce. This process is known as selective breeding. By this process we obtain different variety and different quality, that means much better quality and much better amount of wool. Now our next step is how to make fiber from the wool. This is a long process. We will learn this process. First of all, for rearing these animals, we have to feed something. So what are the food? During supplying the animal, we have to take care of the amount of each and every nutrient. That means proteins, vitamins, minerals, salts, each and everything we have to provide the animals for their better development and growth. If they grow better, they will provide us better quality of wool. Some animals have long hair, some animals have short hair, and some animals have single coat, that means single layer of hair. Some animals have double layer of hair. The outer layer is coarse wool or the coarse hairs they contain, and the inner, that means the inner portion of the long hair, they contain the soft hair. There are different qualities of these hair. Now, first of all, we will observe the process of preparing wool from fiber. First step is shearing. Shearing means to obtain the wool from the body of the animal. That means we take the animal and by a manual razor or by a machine, we take out all the hair from the animals. This process is known as the shearing. And we have be careful during this process, because the little negligence of the worker will cause some harm to the animals. Maybe some cut, maybe some injury to the animals. So during shearing, we maintain the conscious and proper way. Our next process is grading. After shearing, the wools that obtained from the animals are sorting out. That means this is high quality wool, this is medium quality wool, this is low quality wool, and this is long hair, this is short hair. This hair is used for carpet preparing process. Some is used for preparing shawls, some are used for preparing sweaters, some are used for preparing socks, caps, some are used for blankets, jackets. There are different qualities of wool. Here you can see that different breed of sheep contain different quality of wool, and they belong different states of India. If we talk about the Indian sheep, we can see Lohi is the breed that contains good quality of wool, and it found in Rajasthan and Punjab. Nali is another variety of India, has provided the wool to prepare carpet. That means it provided us a carpet quality of wool. And it also found in Rajasthan, Punjab and also in Haryana. Next breed is Pathanwadi. The wool is used for hosiery purpose and it is found in the Gujarat. Next Indian breed is Marwari. It provides us coarse wool. It also found in Gujarat. So there are different quality of wool we found from the different species or different breeds of the sheep. Some are Indian, some are foreign breeds, some are exotic breeds. There are different types of breeds are available from which we can obtain the wool. Our next process is scoring. What do you mean by scoring? Scoring is a process by which we remove the dirt material, the dust particles, some unwanted substance to remove from the wool that we obtain from the animal. Because we know animals are live in an environment in which they directly come in contact with soil, some parts of dirt particles, some parts of muddy substance, some particles that hide in their wool, some skin parts also trapped in their wool during shearing or removing the wool. So during scoring process, we wash that and completely prepare the wool for our next step. And the next step is carding. What do you mean by carding? Carding is the process by which we remove the fluffy fibers from the scoring wool. That means again one times the sorting process is run over the scored wool. In this process, in the carding process, we prepare the wool to make into the fiber. That means in this step, the making or preparing the fiber is completed. Our next step is combing. In this step, the wool or the fibers of the wool come to well and it twisted and convert into them into wool. Our next step is spinning. In the spinning process, we use different spinning machine or by hand spin to make or to spin the yarns of the wool. Our next step is of weaving. In our weaving step, the spun yarn, that means the woolen fiber in the form of yarn, were weaved into fabrics. These are used for making clothes. Weaving process is also done by hand loom or by some power looms. Hand loom is a machine that used by hand or by manually. Power looms are the machines that are used or by drawn by machines. Our next step is finishing step. That is, in this step, the quality of the fibers checked properly and finish the complete process and send the fabrics to the factories for preparing it clothes. Our last step is knitting. That means we all know about the knitting. That means to prepare sweater by some needles, by machine or by hand. We have already seen in our homes that our grandmothers or grandparents use some hand needle to prepare the sweaters for us. So this process is known as the knitting. So today's topic is wool and the process of obtaining wool and preparing the fiber and preparing the fabrics and ultimately prepare the clothes. And our today's topic was animals that yield wool. Some examples of the animals like bison, Angora goat, yak, Angora rabbit, etc. And next step was rearing and breeding. In this step, we saw that the process of taking care of the animals and breed them for our fulfillment of the need of human beings. Next step is process by which the process is used for preparing clothes from wool. So the various steps are shearing, grading, storing, carding, combing, spinning, weaving, finishing and ultimately knitting. By all these steps, we completely and successfully prepare the woolen garments that we used in winters to make our body warm. So that's all for today. Next day we will learn about the next part of this chapter. Thank you.